Right, Craig Douglas, Middlesbrough born. How would I describe you? Actor, writer?
Writer, filmmaker.
Babysitter, milkman, dog walker. Grangetown Ilian.
Yeah, Grangetown.
Yeah. So you're a local lad. You've done quite a lot of things over the last couple of years, Craig. It's quite impressive. I've been looking at your what's that website called? IMDb, yeah. Right. So you've been involved in lots of different things, like Peaky Blinders. What other things?
There was a short film, The Circuit, where it starred Sylvester McCoy, the former Doctor Who, and Doug Jones. He does all the Guillermo del Toro films. He plays all the monster in them, like Hellboy and stuff like that. He plays in all them films. There's a few things.
You've done something for Stephen King. Is that right?
Yeah, well, that's on hold at the minute. That was the back end of 2019.
Right.
Signed a film deal to adapt a short film, a short book of his.
Right.
Make it into a film.
Also, you wrote Schizophrenic.
Yeah, Schizophrenic. Yeah, another short film.
Right. I hope you don't mind me saying, mate, but this is not usual things that you would find from just a Grangetown lad, is it?
Not to be big-headed, but no.
Yeah.
People say to me, they say, "Why don't you ever brag about what you do?" Or why? Like when I got talking to different people, they say, "I never knew you'd done this," and I said, "Because I just don't."
Yeah.
But why? You've been on. You've been in the paper, you've been on the telly, you've been this. I'm just humble, modest, you know what I mean? I suppose that's the council estate in me.
Yeah, because you're quite good friends of Paul Venis, aren't you? So he's from South Bank and you're from Grangetown. And
just down the road in Grangetown.
So you're similar age, aren't you?
Yeah, same age, same school, yeah. I've known Paul well over 20 years, do you know what I mean? I remember being on a course with him and that years ago when we were 17 and stuff, and
right.
He's always. I suppose he's just always been there. No?
Yeah.
Because I used to knock about over South Bank, you see, and then I had a lot of friends over there, so and he often come over Grangetown, some sort of
Yeah. Can I ask you? So you were a poignant figure in the documentary which we did with Paul Suggett, which was Lee Duffy, Too Far Too Soon. Obviously, you grew up, which is Grangetown, which is the next estate to South Bank. For anyone who doesn't know Middlesbrough, the name Lee Duffy. He's been gone 30 years this year. It's not going to be forgot about, is it?
Oh, definitely not. No chance. I mean, like say anywhere. Anything something gangland comes up.
Yeah.
If it's from a couple of older men sat in the pub or something like that, and everyone they'll get talking about the up and coming and that, and you guarantee one of them will say, "But they'd never had a thing on Lee Duffy."
Yeah.
No, it just anywhere you go. Like I say, I was in Bulgaria and talking to a guy from over there. He seen me in a Burrito, and we got on about talking about the club and that. And then about what it's like, and then he mentions Lee Duffy straight away, and you think, how, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. He just, anytime someone with a reputation or that sort of true crime, and especially if I don't know about as far out as the north, around the northeast.
Yeah.
His name's always brought up.
Yeah, do you know what's funny? I was talking to another lad not long back, who'll be around your age, the boxer Paul Truscott, former Commonwealth champion, British title challenger, and he said to me, when he was on Sky Sports, as soon as people said from South Bank, Middlesbrough, some quite famous faces said, "Did you know Lee Duffy?"
This is it. It's crazy. I mean, I used to work on the doors and stuff like that, and I'd have lads from all over, especially North East.
Yeah.
And there'd be, "Oh, did you know Duffy then?" I'm like, "Oh no, I was only a kid at the time." "Oh yeah, I've heard this, and it was anywhere you went. Wagon drivers when I've worked in jobs and stuff like that, who come from Scotland and Wales, and they're all as soon as you mention, "Oh, I'm just from down here or around there," "Oh, did you know Lee Duffy?"
Yeah.
I heard of that Lee Duffy. You know what I mean? And that was before, yourself, who made it. I mean, I'm going back 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah.
With and people talking about, and then that was before Facebook was ever massive or social media.
It's funny, Craig, because I've done other things, and I get it in Wakefield with Paul Sykes, but when I'm in Middlesbrough now, if anyone ever sees me, all they want to do is talk to me about Lee Duffy. It's like I haven't got a personality. I think he's got that much of a grip. And next subject, Craig, you're actually writing the Lee Duffy script to be like a movie, aren't you? Is that coming along?
Yeah, it's getting there. Do you know what I mean? I'm taking time on it. I'm not rushing.
Yeah.
I want it, if it's going to be good, I want it to be good. I don't see to rush. You know what I mean? I've had that many people ask.
Yeah.
Obviously, especially after seeing the documentary.
Yeah.
That many people messaging me on social media and this and that. I've had people stop me in the street. So how's the film going to be? When's the film going to be?
Mm.
And I mean, in all fairness, James Cameron can't tell you when the next Avatar is going to be. So
yeah.
I can't exactly say, well, yeah, it's going to be then, it's going to be then. With what's going on, it's just crazy at the minute.
No, I know. But what other plans have you got in the pipeline, Craig?
I've got a football documentary in the works.
Right.
It's about like the love of the game and stuff like that. I've got a few good people attached to that. A few ex-Borough players and stuff.
Can you name any or not?
Yeah, Dimmy Constantopoulos, Guys Comendieta, Frank Woodrow, David Wheater. Yeah, I've got a couple.
I was actually talking to David the other week, actually, about a book. Funny enough, he lives not too far from me. Nice fella.
Yeah.
Plays for I think Bolton, Oldham or something now.
Oldham, yeah.
Yeah, big lad.
Oh yeah. See, obviously, I'm a season ticket holder, so I've watched Borough for going into my 31st year of watching them. You know what I mean? It's like, people say, why would you get people like that to do it and agree to do it? Yeah. You just have to go for it. I mean, where I grew up, shy kids got out.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what as well? And it's like I probably shouldn't say this. I hope no one's listening, but sometimes you can play on their ego. You know, if you go up and say to them, "Will you do this for me?" They say no. We'll say, "Well, do you know what? You were fantastic, and you were, you know, and that's it's something that you pick up over the years doing what we do."
There's some people you could definitely give their ego a big stroke and they've been a palm in hand. But the people I've got involved at the minute, they've all just been more than fine.
Yeah.
And, one of the latest ones attaches Venis from Soccer AM.
Right. Wow.
So he's on board at the minute.
So do you just work 7 days a week then? Are you just constantly at it?
No, at the minute. No, I'm back in a day job. Day job, yeah.
Right, can I ask what you do, or?
Warehouse, working a warehouse, mate.
Right, so this is very much like a hobby for you, isn't it? That's how I started writing. My first couple of years I was just part-time, and I would have done them for free. It was never about any money, and then, obviously, when I did the Sykes, it was Duffy that really sent me, it was mental, and so is that similar with you?
Yeah, I mean, it's always something I've been into and wanted to do from being a young kid, is writing. And I mean, I can remember as far back as being a probably 5-6-year-old and winning a writing competition in school. It's just something I've always liked to do.
Yeah.
I suppose I had a bit of an imagination.
Natural flair, creative.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, people say, how do you do it? And you just do it. Do you know what I mean? So, obviously it was on the hobby side, but over the past couple of years when I've been getting paid for it and that.
Yeah.
It's all I ever want to do.
And with the acting side, are you going to do much more? I mean, have you got anything in the pipeline? Obviously, I appreciate that's pretty dead at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I've been in front of the camera; it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know what. I mean, how many times can you get typecast as a doorman or a heavy arch?
Yeah.
So because you're big, tall, and got a beard, and I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a few. I mean, if the offers come, I mean, and I don't really get much. I mean, with my agent now, I don't really get much through that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
can I ask? I mean, do you know? There's a saying, right? Never meet your heroes. And I've met a couple that I wish I had never met. I've met a lot of people last couple of years from the boxing world, football world. And for a lot of people, that, you know, the only probably two people I've met got to know quite well, Ricky Burns and Josh Warrington, and they're actually nicer than what you think. But there's a lot of people that you're disappointed. Have you ever found that, Craig, when you've worked on sets with actors?
I have, I mean, so like even like yourself, like Josh and that I've met, the nicest pie. He was absolute top sound with my with my little lad as well. Know what I mean? And that was a Borough Leeds game we met at. Know what I mean? He's a Leeds fan as well. But I've been places and people won't even. Although if they do look at you, they look you up and down and that. And there is like people. Where I've met Mark Ralston, who was like in the Shawshank Redemption and The Departed and all that. One of the most down-to-earth guys you'll ever meet. Same with Robert Englund out the Nightmare on Elm Street films.
So I'd have been quite starstruck meeting him, like.
See, when I met him and I had a proper talk with him and that, and I'm thinking, I'm stood here talking to
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck, like, but but some people there is, but then there's even, I mean, there's footballers. That's what like some of the footballers now. They're all young kids and that. They've never had a proper job. Or they don't even clean boots anymore for the senior players or anything. So they have a bit of an ego. Some of them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd be proper disappointed if I did end up meeting someone who was like truly my hero. And, you know, and then he was a bit of a dick or an arse, really. But
it does, because it stays with you, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it does. Like, as soon as you could see someone and talk to them like that, and it does, like, you think, why did I put so much effort into loving this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so for the future, then, are you just going to remain busy? And obviously, when the world goes back to normal, are you just going to put all these writing up, full stop, overdrive, and just go crazy on your writing?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the Stephen King thing, that'll be picked back up because that's on hold because of it. But I've got an extension on that deal, which is good. I've also got something in the works with it's a media company called Action Park Media. Yeah. They know like the TV show Entourage and stuff like that, like all in American shows. It's a guy who runs that, Doug Ellen and Kevin Connolly. So it's their media company. So it's like that's a short film that I'm gonna. Because you've got quite a bit of a social media following, Craig. Is that are you constantly getting to be honest, in this game I think everything happens on Twitter. Forget Instagram, that's for kids. Facebook's for your family. YouTube's the sewers. I never read the comments, but Twitter's where everything happens, and you've got quite a big following. Yeah, you get a lot of. So over the years, I mean, it builds your following. If you have to interact with people, like my Instagram account, you always have to be interacting with people. So like Twitter and stuff like that. Don't feel daft about asking questions to someone. Do you know what I mean? You don't learn nothing by not asking questions. Yeah, I was just going to ask you that if you could give anyone any tips for, I had a job for waste jobs in and out for 20 years, and you know what, when now I've got a job I do for free, I get to meet a lot of interesting people, speak to them, kind of study some loonies, some people I wish I'd never met. Do you know what I mean? But that's the best part, isn't it? Like having that, like I love that now. I go up to somebody and they just want to talk to me about films or talk to me about this or the Duffy documentary. And because you're quite a bit of I mean this in the nicest way, you're a bit of a film geek, aren't you? Like kind of hardcore with your like your old films, like I watch your stuff like Back to the Future and Freddy Krueger and see with me the 80s films. Yeah, it was like that was my escape. I mean, I was picked on something rotten in school and that, you know what I mean? That was my escape, was films and stuff. So you still do that now? Watch films every night? Pretty much when I can. Yeah. I'll always, if it's old stuff I've seen a million times to new stuff, and like when people moan about a film, or I like to have my own judgment on it first, Yeah. Any other stars in the film world you've met? Because obviously Robert Englund. Have you been to like an evening whiffs and all that? Yeah, it was like I met them at like a Comic Con and that. Robert Englund, Mark Ralston, RJ Mitt out of Breaking Bad, who plays Walt Jr. He was a character. Yeah. Sylvester McCoy, like when I'd written in that for him and met him and that was good. Yeah, there's many more you'd love to. Yeah. Actually meet, isn't there? But and so if anyone's listening to this on YouTube, how can they get in touch with Craig Douglas? Probably best to follow on any social media. Right, give me them. Or even Craig Douglas Official on Instagram. Yeah. C Douglas Film on Twitter. They're like my my own accounts, so they're probably the best to get hold of, or even Pine Barrens Pictures, which is my production company I formed. I started that in 2019.
Right.
So, yeah, just have a label.
What about Facebook?
Again, Craig Douglas Official. This is like a page on Facebook, because I don't have like an account, you know yourself. It's best I like to have a page where I can see what I post and not what everyone's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bonus balls or something like that.
No, but you know what, Craig? It's been a pleasure, mate, and I really take my hat off to you, because, you know, a lot of people, you know, the horrible world, the trolls. Can I ask you before you go, do you get the trolls and that, or is it just me hated?
Yeah, I've had a few and stuff over it. Like when I remember when I first signed the Stephen King deal, and it got into the paper and stuff, and I had someone comment on it calling me a weirdo, and I was like, why? Because I want to make a film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like I've said before, if whatever it is you're doing in life, if you can't take the negative reviews, then it's not for you.
Do you know what, I think you said that the other week, and I think if you noticed, I actually nicked it off your page, and because it's thought provoking, and
I mean,
you know,
it is. If you feel like you're not ready for anything, if you can't take the negative side.
Yeah, I've said that to Paul Venis, and obviously Paul's life's kind of went massive. I mean, he was a bit famous anyway with his kickboxing days, but anyone you can mention South Bank and the no Venom. Yeah. But you know what? He's like. I mean, I talk to Alan Thompson quite regularly and Alex Reid, and they both want to meet him. They're like, do you know? And you know Paul. He's like, I fell in love with him. Me and the wife did. And but to look at him, you wouldn't think he is the way he was, because he's quite a gentle soul. You can take the mick out of him all day, but he probably would be quite scary.
I've seen a different side of it.
Yeah. But do you know something? It's like, I mean, do you know he's got it's really humble with Paul, because I don't think he realises how big his message could be, because he lived. You knew him, I didn't. He was a homeless, drug addict, prison. Ravaged with everything antisocial and bad behaviour. He was in it, and he's found God, you know, onto things, and we're going into Homehouse Prison, Middlesbrough College, Palliser Park Centre.
Stuff like that's great. I remember when he got out and stuff, and he'd done that talk, and it went massive on YouTube.
Yeah.
Where he told he'd sort of stripped everything back and showed everyone his true self.
Do you know, and it's only
like he's a proper top bloke.
Yeah, he is. I love him. And do you know something? Sometimes it is horrible where you think, well, do you know what? I wish, and I get it. I do you know what? I wish I was still a forklift driver or a labourer or a. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And like where? But then, do you know? I'm into my self-positive things, and I was watching Leonardo DiCaprio the week on Summit, and he said, "These are the sacrifices you've got to make." Do you know what I mean? And if you can't take a little bit of thing, you know, if it was that easy, everybody would be doing it, wouldn't they?
Oh, definitely. If you love to set yourself a challenge, then negativity is all you're going to get.
Yeah, you know, it's like that
to a certain height, and people are then hanging off your coattails. But you know, like you just take it, just take the shit. It's rough and smooth.
Absolutely, and yeah, do you know, it's like. It's amazing. It's astonishing, really, when you think, well, you had it the other month with someone messaging you, calling you weird, like you don't even know you. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I get it, probably daily. People say you're a fat lesbian, your hair's a mess, and to be honest, they've got a point. I can't really.
No, but I don't mean to laugh. Comical, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
I think you don't know me. Why? Like, it's like when I've seen some of the reviews on the Duffy documentary, and like when some say amateurish. Oh yeah.
The best one I like. Well, I didn't like. Was someone give us a 1-star review because there was no footage of Lee. Well, hang on a minute. I'll just go back 30 years in a time zone and dig him up and.
Let's go get a time machine.
Yeah, you know. And I mean, what did you think of that documentary when you watched it back?
I've watched it once, and I just loved it. It was just good. It was just. I don't know, it gives you a feel of it. I think if you were a neutral, and you didn't really know, like that's up there with other documentaries. Like you said when I said in the documentary that why shouldn't he be? We're not like promoting violence and stuff. But look at like Lenny McLean's had a documentary and film about him. The craze of how many, do you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Boyle and the sense of freedom.
Yeah,
they're all in that. You would have put them all in a room and they'd have all been challenging for who was number one. Not one of them would have stepped down from whoever. Do you know what I mean? They're all...
Yeah, it's. Do you know something? I mean, I always say I'm sick of true crime. All it does is cause you stress. But do you know what? I know, right? When I go and do the boxers' books, the footballers' books, whatever, they don't sell as much, and that's what people are fascinated with. You know, most nights, Craig, I watch Jack the Ripper films, like documentaries, and I was talking to one of my heroes the other week. Martin O'Neill, the boss. I mean, this is just a prime example of the people I get to speak to, and he's obsessed with like Paul Sykes and Jack the Ripper, and it's like, so that just shows you the kind of, if you go walk in Waterstones and ask the most popular genre it's true crime.
Of course it is. It's because a lot of it's like cloak and dagger as well. That you don't really see much about the real side of someone.
Yeah.
In that, unless it's in the papers or on the news, where say, like you say, a boxer or a footballer, their lives are just broadcast all over the telly, Sky Sports News, their social media accounts. So when it is someone like true crime, who it was just a one-man army in a town, it's always from...
That's the thing, and it's with the people I've wrote about, like your Roy Shaws, your Lee Duffys, your Paul Sykes, your Dominic Negus. It's always for me, the biggest thing is to try and understand what made them. And I think with the Duffy, the biggest thing that jumps out for me is his uniqueness, because he was a 26-year-old kid. You know, most kids these days are living at home with their mum, and 30 years society's changed and all that. But listen, I'm not in the Lee Duffy fan club. Does he fascinate me? Absolutely. But do you know what? It is absolutely unbelievable what he did. Why was he the way he was? And obviously, his life was snuffed out early, and there's a message in there without a doubt. Because I think most people have research, your Paul Bryan's doing life in prison, Paul Sykes died in the gutter. I think Venis is probably the only one who's really had a happy ending, because it's not a life, is it?
That's it. It's like, from that, say, even from the Duffy story, you can take like a choice of two paths, really. You go down that route he did and try to be better, or you just take a step back and think, it's no good for me, I want to carry on and have my family and have, I mean, like Paul has, like.
I know one thing Paul put in his book, I think it was something like, because he used to, obviously he grew up in South Bank like a lot of kids, kind of a bit obsessed and intrigued. I spoke to Paul Truscott, and he said, I knew a Lee when he was alive, and so he was 6. Do you know what I mean? So but Paul used to go on his BMX with Lee's son Michael, and they'd stare at the grave, and if Paul had never woke up, I think he said in his book, young kids probably would have cycled to look at Paul Venis's grave. Do you know what I mean? It's like, where's the glory in being dead before your prime?
That's it. It's like, I suppose, when it's something like that, your headstone's like finishing third place in a race, isn't it? That's your trophy, really.
That's a good way of putting it, mate. I've never heard that before. And Duffy was 5 years off his prime. that's a staggering thing. Yeah,
like when you think about it, you say he was just a kid. You know what I mean?
How old are you now, Craig?
I'm 35, so that's what I mean. Like,
so nearly a decade older than he ever was.
That's what I mean. When I think of it now, like I've got a brother that's our age and that. Or
But do you know what? It's been brilliant talking to you, mate. We'll keep in touch, and I'm going to put this on YouTube.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say to tell anyone?
No. Just thank you.
And get anyone who wants to listen to this, get in touch on all your social medias.
Yeah, that's great, Jamie. Yeah.